Which brings us on nicely to your day and the fact that you were both on the same pitch when Frank made his Old Firm debut in 1987, October 1987. You were on the pitch, but there's a story attached to that.
No, Macca, we were at a gig, I think it was in Bellshill, a kind of Celtic Rangers thing, and Macca was up telling a story, you know, and he was talking about the game where he gets sent off. But I was so engrossed in it, and I was listening to it, and I was going, that sounds brilliant, because it was the usual Old Firm game, a bit feisty, sendings off, tackles flying everywhere, and the way he was portraying it and telling the story, I was going, God almighty, I'd have loved to have played in that. I really would have. So I've got home that night, and I'm sitting down, I poured myself a beer, and I went, I'm going to YouTube that. I want to see that again. And there you go, he's involved with Big Butcher, Chris Woods and a few others at that time as well. And then there was me going up to Big Butcher. I just went, I went, is that me? I rewound it and I went like that. I went, fuck, I was playing that game. I couldn't even remember. But it's the way you told the story. And I could see the audience was engrossed in it, so was I. But there you go, I've got a great memory of me, haven't I?
But it just shows you those games.
I didn't know it was that game because I Hollywood it.
We'll go into the court case in a wee minute, because it was an amazing story. But does that give you a wee idea of how games like that kind of pass you by a wee bit sometimes, that it's so frenetic and it's so blood and thunder that you don't maybe remember a lot of
there could be a wee bit of that, Simon. There is certain games I do remember, but there's certain ones that obviously I don't know why. Maybe I've had too many bangs in the head. I don't know. But no, I just, it's when he told that story and I was sitting there and it sounded great, and I was involved and I played in it, so there could be a wee bit of that.
You know what, my first game, when Polly spoke to me all week, the gaffer, and he was speaking to me all week, and he was trying to explain to me what's going to happen, and I'm going, it's just another game, you know, it's just...
Even though you must have been at a few in the crowd.
Oh, I was in a crowd a lot of time, but I'm going, it's just another game. It's not just another game, you know.
And it's not. Because you went as a supporter, I went as a supporter.
It was great.
We know what it means to supporters, so that's why we loved them. But that's why I think with the Rangers Celtic boys all have that respect for each other, because we're on the same kind of. We know the kind of.
They never ever held back in the tackle. We kick them, see each other, but then we'll go for a beer.
But see the other thing that I was going to say,
in the bar, we'll go right up, get a beer.
I think in a day and age, a lot of players feel under pressure. It felt more excitement to me, that desperate for the game. You just want to play in that game.
Do you think the fact that there wasn't social media back in those days made it different? Like the guys who are playing in these games now can see it all. They see what it means to supporters and social media and Twitter and whatever, and get caught up in a wee bit. Whereas in those days,
they're scrutinised.
I think there was one bomber, you know, at Rangers Seas, and he was saying, and I remember it, but he said it was a glass, but it wasn't. I was in a nightclub and he'd just signed for Rangers, and he came into the club and I sent him a bottle of champagne, and I says, welcome to the madness. And he knew what it meant right away, you know. And he says it was a glass of champagne, but it wasn't, it was a bottle.
I tell you, what that player he was glasses for Glasgow Rangers, so he was incredible. And I know why Rangers signed him, because they put us out there. See, I remember this game. John playing with Dundee, put us out the Scottish Cup. He scored 3 goals. But what I remember for that, and I say it sometimes we were doing where we talk, that went up against Souness a couple of times and put Souness on his backside. So not a lot of people done that at that time.
So got away with it.
But the good thing, and that Souness in a way kind of enjoyed that and thought, oof, you'll do it for me.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And of course, went on to sign for them.
He was a good player. I thought he was a good player.
He never get capped for Scotland.
Never get capped.
Yeah.
It's bonkers sometimes when you see some of the players that have played for Scotland.
Again, you look at it and you go, yeah, but that's the standard that had it. Centre-halves in the days. I mean, I know Bomber could have fitted in anyway.
His position kind of changed a wee bit. There was no further forward play for Dundee. I remember at Dundee he was
centre-half.
He got a lot of goals.
He was a centre-half.
Left back, he could play centre-back, he could play in the middle of the park. He could be that. He had a good range of passing as well. See, and again, left footer, man, lovely left foot. So.
Well, whisper it, but I think he might be the next guest on. Might be Frank.
Yes.
So we can.
We're no bias in this programme. We get them on.
By the way, thanks for the blue cup as well. There you go. Looking after me.
Cheers. With Frank, you know. So we're
That's
There'll
what
be many
means.
people that will knock back Frank, because I think like a lot of the guys, we all enjoy being in his company, because you always get a giggle and a laugh. So.
Yeah. Well, you've said that yourself. You said that. I mean, you've done speaking gigs at Rangers clubs. Have you not? Have you not
God,
gone to Masonic clubs and
Oh, it
various
doesn't
things
bother
like that?
me.
And
Yeah.
you can quite happily walk in
Take money
and
off anybody.
command a
right, yeah.
Is there can you think of anybody the other way around, ex-Rangers player, been back into a Celtic supporting club?
I remember that God, there is some goalie phoned me up
Aye.
once, and he phoned me up and he says, because people wanted Celtic and Rangers, and he says, I've got you a wee speaking gig in Masonic Lodge. I says, goalie. I says, I don't, I've never done Masonic Lodge. You're all right, you'll be great. And all that. I says, what one is it? Called Winning.
Right.
And they never told me, and I says, I don't know. He says, don't worry, you're with me. I get doing it. It was a big one, Lodge Zero or something.
Right.
Now, I didn't know that Masonic Lodge is different from the Orange Halls, obviously, but Masonic, they're very respectful. They're great people. There's a lot of Catholics in them as well. But walked in, I was like, with history, I thought Robbie Burns could have been related to me till I found out what side he was on. He'd done the same kind of things as me.
You were the Rami Burns of the Scottish football scene in the 1980s.
So I'm in there and I'm doing it, and it was great, because I was setting myself, to be honest with you, in the Masonic, and it was the first one I got a standing ovation. I thought, wow. So I returned the favour to the guy. I says, I've got a wee gig for you. Coat Bridge. He says, I know there's names. It's just pubs in Coat Bridge. He says, no, a barnyard. He's walked in and the Pope's up there. He's looking at me. I said, don't worry, you're with me. So that was good. They never done any of the nonsense, and he just told some good stories, and it was brilliant.
And that's what it is. I mean,
That's
they've
what
got
it is.
good, obviously, stories for Celtic, Rangers and that, but the other stuff as well is brilliant.
Yeah,
and
it is.
they two were brilliant. The goalie was superb at his after dinner. So is he. I enjoy listening to him. So I do.
Good fun.
So we can't have you on the show without talking about your boy, and he's been an
Aye.
absolute revelation in Italy. Unlucky with the injury, missing the Euros and so on.
Aye, it just shows you what can happen in a split second. His foot was just planted wrong moment, wrong time. But it's been an amazing experience for him and me as well. I'm lucky enough that I can go over as much as I can. But he had planned this. He knew that he was always wanting to go abroad and play. I'm not saying he planned to go to Bologna, but there was a few Italian sides interested in him, and he chose Bologna. But within 3-4 months, he could start to get a gauge of the language. Now he's fluent in Italian. Which is great when you're going out for a wee bite to eat and he's ordering your stuff, but watching him in front of the cameras, when he's getting interviewed.
That first interview, I was so impressed. I felt like his dad, like you, because I thought you'd have been so proud of him. I thought first interview ever, and he started speaking Italian. I was like,
Tremendous.
wow.
There's not many footballers they would do that. Was Lewis quite academic? Was you at school?
I'm afraid. Aye, by the way, don't even go there. Was that Chuck school at second year?
Well, he was playing with Rangers age 15.
I know, and you know which
That's an education itself.
was a big mistake that see to this day and age, my man and dad are still alive. I still give them a bit. Because it allowed me to not go to school and go and train. But that wouldn't happen with me, with my three boys. So they've all got their qualification. The other two are engineers. So Lewis, he's clever. He's very mature for his age. I mean, I have a laugh.
For his dad.
Aye, he's a lot. They're a lot brighter than me. They're a lot more mature than me. But I'm so proud of him and the other two as well. But for him to go and handle everything, and then to be made captain. So that just shows you what they think of him as a person. It's not just about the player, it's a person. The way he's been looked after, and everybody see that place. Now I'm not religious whatsoever, right? But when you go into that stadium, the Larry in Bologna, there's something that's, I don't know, there's a feeling that comes out of it, and it's amazing. I don't know if it's the people, the fans, everything that goes with it, the whole kind of rest.
It's a great feeling, all Catholics.
It doesn't matter to me as long as my boy's happy.
Aye, that's what matters,
I mean, half of my family are Catholic, we're right in the middle, so it doesn't bother me.
But obviously leaving Aberdeen to go to Italy, a lot of people might have assumed that the natural progression would have been to Glasgow, whether it was Rangers or Celtic or whatever, but going to Italy instead. Do you ever think the big two missed a trick?
I think Celtic were in for him. I knew, well, they were inquiring. I don't know whether they were in for him or not.
I
heard they were in.
There was an inquiry, I think a wee inquiry for Celtic, absolutely nothing for Rangers, which I was a little bit surprised considering his uncle was a top player for Rangers, captain, but a legend.
Not to mention his old man.
And I'd played as well, you know, and I thought they might have maybe had a look at that, and but I don't know if it's a relationship between Rangers and Aberdeen, if that had a part of playing it, I'm not sure. But I just think we miss a trick with some of our younger players.
But one thing I want to say as well before we finish, because time's moving on, is that remember that joke about somebody said, you know, was Brian Laudrup the best player in Europe? Best player in Europe? It's not even the best player in his own house. Who was the best player in your house?
I tell you what, that's a great question.
The missus.
Because, right, and I'm going to be a bit controversial here.
Oh, we like that.
No, it's the reason, right, you can't argue with Barry. Barry's absolute, his career absolutely top drawer. But as a player, and I'm going, my son, I think my son, he just.
I think he's going to eclipse Barry. He's not there yet.
But then the other thing I'll say, it was never about being a competition. First and foremost, I just wanted my wee brother, talking about now Barry, I just wanted him to become a professional football player. But did I think he'd be going and be like Scotland captain, Rangers captain? I didn't see it at that time, but fair play to him, and he did that absolutely brilliant. But I just think Lewis has got a lot. People go, you kid me on, but you look at where he's played with the Accies, the Aberdeen and Bologna. Bologna shouldn't be in the Champions League. They shouldn't even been up there. You know.
But he was a massive part of.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So he's even in an Aberdeen side that at times struggled a little bit. So he knows the other side of the game. He knows how to dig deep, and he's got that character.
He sounds like a leader. So
and he's a leader in a different way from maybe the way Barry was.
That's what I was going to say. The farm, that's a family trait.
And it's
imagine that.
He's. I tell you what, he's hard as nails as well, you know. But he's instead of the bawling and shouting, I think with Lewis, it's a wee quiet word, a firm word in their ear, you know, and lead by example. So there's
some people do that, you know, different people.
There's different ways of doing it. Sometimes you can be shouting and screaming and that, and then there's going out and just a wee word with them, and
he's got that.
And they know what you're like as a person, as a character. So when you're having that word, when they'll go, oof, I better just hear to listen.
So Paul McStay was quiet. He never shouted anybody, but he done it. He led a big example, and that's what Lewis does. He gets the ball and runs at somebody. If he runs at somebody, somebody's got to come out and get him, and that opens up a space. And
but they're no bad players, eh?
No bad.
Lewis, they're
done all right, didn't they?
So Lewis has got a good bit to go. So in terms of he can go and play for another. I think
he's got 10 years at least.
I think he'll play more than that.
He'll probably not say, but his biggest fan will be Barry anyway. He'll want him to eclipse him.
No, of course he did. You want your own to do well.
No, you never do that, but he'll want him.
And Paul, you just mentioned Paul McStay there. That was, tell you what a gentleman he was. I actually ended up coaching for Paul. We used to get into this schools run about Glasgow. It's called Soccer Curriculum. So me, Tosh, we Robert Pritz. So we'd go into all the different schools, and it was about the Rangers Celtic thing. Yep, there's a rivalry. That's good competition, but we done where we talks about it and saying just a bit of respect has got to be there as well, you know, at the time. So he was clever.
Never see it.